Imagine returning to the home you loved after years away, only to find it unrecognizable. The lush green forests you remember from childhood, gone, stripped away by a desperate need for charcoal. The land left dry and tired. That is what David found. But the barren landscape wasn't the most devastating part. The real heartbreak was inside the homes. Before the sun rises, a mother wakes. She lights the fire. She does not know that the smoke curling around her children's faces is stealing their breath slowly, quietly, invisibly. She thinks this is normal because everyone around her lives the same way. But David looked at those fallen trees and that choking smoke and said, no, this is not normal. This is not okay, and I cannot pretend anymore. This is the story of Kendenza Carbon Cautious Solutions. Kendenza meaning reduce, and a future where no mother has to choose between cooking dinner and breathing clean air. But before hearing David's full story, I wanted to see these solutions for myself. I stepped into the Kendenza store, where a friendly face at the front desk led me straight to David to show me exactly how they are changing the way Uganda cooks. Every solution starts with someone who refuses to look away. Someone who sees a problem and they will say, I can fix it. With me is a person for clean cooking in Uganda. The man behind Kendenza Carbon Cautious Solutions. Welcome, David, and thank you for having us.
Thank you, Jackie. I'm honored to be with you here today, talking about all the great and wonderful things about clean cooking.
So, David, I'll start with a very simple question. What broke your heart enough to start Kendenza Carbon Cautious Solutions? I know I asked you that earlier, and you were like, broke my heart.
What's this giving you heartbreak?
Okay, what's that thing that ached you a lot, and you're like, there's a problem here, I need to fix it?
I think for me it was the numbers. The numbers are very stark when you look at the statistics out there. In Uganda, they estimate that over 13,000 people die every year out of exposure to smoke inhalation. And for me, what's really touching about this, it's disproportionately the women and children who are affected, because they're the ones who do a lot of the cooking, they're in the kitchen. And so when you think these are 13,000 plus lives that are unnecessarily lost, it really starts to make you think about what can you do to stop that kind of unnecessary loss of life. So it's really the numbers, and of course there are things like in 2024 I took a trip to my village up north, a place called Terrigal, and I saw, having been there 10 years before, I saw for myself the impact deforestation for purposes of creating charcoal and for cooking had on places that I'd seen 10 years earlier with lots of forest cover, and now there were just bare pieces of land.
How did that feel for you?
It's heartbreaking, to say the least, because you know that people have to cook because they have to live, and they have to eat. But when you know that there are solutions out there that mean the impact is a lot less than it is, then you start to think about what you can do to better the situation. And that's really what got me thinking about there must be something out there that we can get people to start using that will have a positive effect in a number of ways.
That's so powerful, David. That's so powerful. Now, David, looking at these products, where are they actually made, and is the community out there aware of these products?
Okay, that's a good question. So the products we do here, these are energy efficient charcoal stoves. I like to say they're the most efficient charcoal stoves in the world. And they're made in different places. The black range, which is their core range, are made in Kenya. They're manufactured in Kenya. These ones are made by an American company, designed in the US and manufactured in China. So they're imported into the country. We haven't yet got to the standard of producing these stoves. It's not rocket science, but I know with time we should be able to see some kind of manufacturing capability in Uganda. But for the time being, we import these and sell them to people right across the country.
Kendenza are doing some pushing to see them manufactured here, because it would be a good thing to see these products manufactured in Uganda locally and consumed by Ugandans.
Absolutely. You're tapping into what the vision for us in the clean cooking space is. If we could, if we had our way and we were able to line up a few things, there's no reason why Kendenza wouldn't be one of the companies manufacturing these energy efficient stoves right here in the country and doing all sorts of things, giving people additional jobs and hopefully bringing the prices down to make them a lot more affordable for the citizens out there.
Maybe someone out there is looking at these stoves, they really look neat, but they also have that, they have an interest to know what's the process, how are they made? Do you have, could you take us through how they are made, why it's even better, a healthier stove to use for cooking? Could we just pick on one and maybe you show us the parts and what makes it even cook faster, or why is it smokeless?
So these stoves are, they're made from stainless steel. It's a full rust-proof body, so stainless steel on the top and galvanized steel on the side. And essentially what makes these stoves very efficient is the three things that are design features that make this stove outperform any stove out there. The first is the insulator. They do not use clay as an insulator. There's a special
ordinary ones. All have clay.
Yeah, there's and that's why it's light. Yeah, so there's a special material inside called ceramic fiber. You might be able to see it if you look inside. It looks like cotton. It looks like cotton. That material is the ceramic fiber which lines the side and the bottom of this stove. So ceramic fiber is light, flexible. It doesn't burn, so even if there's fire, it wouldn't catch. And it is a lot better, up to 10 times better than clay at insulating. So that's why it's used in industrial ovens, kilns and things like that, because it's really good at retaining heat. So that means you put charcoal in, just a handful of charcoal inside this charcoal stove, and it'll cook for up to 2 hours.
Wow. So if I'm cooking something like dry beans, how long would it take?
So I say if you fill this with charcoal, you can cook 2 cups of dry yellow beans without needing to replace the charcoal. Yeah, you'll have enough heat to start the frying process.
This space for the charcoal is really so small.
It looks small, but that is just a mindset understanding of the design of stoves. People believe traditionally that for a stove to be efficient, you need to have a bigger combustion chamber where you put a lot more charcoal. And if it's small, it means it's not big enough for their cooking needs. But at the end of the day, if you address the insulation, and the second thing which I want to talk about is the airflow, then you have a stove that is very, very efficient. So the second thing about this stove is, if you look around, there are no ventilation holes on the side.
I can't see
The only place that air enters this chamber is through this section at the bottom.
So that means when I'm cooking, I kind of open it a little bit.
Exactly. So you can use this as a heat regulator. So if you want a lot of heat, you open it up till there, just a bit, about an inch out. That allows air to enter into the chamber through a process called the chimney effect. Warm air is rising, it creates a vacuum, cold air is drawn in, and that's what supplies air into the chamber.
Now, David, something interesting while you're explaining the process. It takes me back to your village when you said you got there and all the trees were done. So that means if we consume this, we are going to end up using less charcoal. So also that means the tree cutting will also be less.
Absolutely.
And so that means we are going to keep our forests. That's what we are driving
at. I think the biggest challenge with the charcoal trade is there are 2 on both sides. One is unsustainable production, so illegal logging and charcoal manufacture. And on the demand side is inefficient use. So if you've got a charcoal stove like this, that saves up to 60%. It means that the demand for charcoal will reduce because you're using a lot less. I estimate that if you're using a normal charcoal stove, the amount of charcoal you use a month with a normal clay line stove. Once you switch over to this, you'll use that same amount of charcoal for 3 or 4 months.
Wow. And
That
usually we use that sack for 1 month.
Exactly. So the one sack that you're using a month, you'll now use it for 3 or 4 months, depending on how much you're cooking.
Pretty good.
So that if we could get everyone to move to an energy efficient charcoal stove, we would be using the amount of charcoal we use nationally a year for 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And the impact would be a lot less.
What a good model.
Yeah, so that's the airflow. The airflow helps it improve. And of course, because you've got improved insulation and improved airflow, you then don't need a big chamber. That's why many people look at this chamber and think that's too small. This cooks for 20 people.
That's what I thought. I thought it's small.
It's small because we think that the only pans you can put are pans that are the size of this chamber, but in actual sense, you can put pans that are much bigger because this whole area is like a hot plate. Same design principles. It's got cast iron pot stands which help with and a ring which help retain heat a lot more. This will cook for about 40 people. So we sell this to restaurants, small restaurants, and the chapati maker. So this is the stove the guy in Barara purchased for his Rolex business. So if you got a Rolex business, this is perfect for you. They do also the other sizes. We have the small one up here, which cooks for a family of up to 6. This one here, which cooks for a family of up to 20 people. And of course, this large one. And then with regards to design, we have this slightly different design, which has cast iron on top. It's a very beautiful stove. So if you like something that's not necessarily black, you want a bit of color injected into your kitchen, then this is your choice. It retains heat for a long time once the charcoal is finished because of this cast iron. But it's got the same design principles. You control the heat using this tray. And of course, with all of them, once you're done cooking, that's your ash tray. That's where the ash is collected. So it means you don't have to take the stove out to empty the ash. You can just collect it in the tray and you're good to go. So these are briquettes. They're made from char, which is waste wood, coffee husks, matoke peels, and is a more sustainable option to charcoal.
The charcoal.
Yeah. These, like I said, are the different types of stoves that we do. Some of them come with attachments like this for grilling. If you want to grill, especially up north, a lot of people like smoking their meat.
Oh yeah.
So these were very, very popular. This is it's like the African pressure cooker, which is it's an efficient way to cook because it stores heat. You heat this and it retains heat instead of the heat getting lost.
Yeah.
Able to cook faster with this and save energy. So this is our African pressure cooker. The thing I like about these is they're burnished, so it's got that shiny look without any varnish on them or any additional chemicals. And it's also got a rounded bottom. So this rounded bottom means that there's a more uniform distribution of heat, which allows them to cook really, really well. So yeah, these are our African pressure cookers, so to speak. So this is a water purifier. It means you can get clean drinking water wherever you are. You can, all you need to do is you get whatever water you've got, rainwater, tap water, put it inside this pot, it filters through and you get water that has 99.9% germs, bacteria, impurities removed. It's UNBS tested. And all you need to replace on an ongoing basis is this, the pot, which lasts for about 5 years. And yeah, you get really, really good water. When we go out for exhibitions, we get water from the tents, put them inside here, put that water inside there, and you get filtered, clean, drinkable water at the bottom. Comes in different sizes. This one's the 30-liter one. We also do a smaller 20-liter version and a large one for institutions, which is 75 liters.
Affordability is the thing here now.
Yeah.
Because we need the money. You need people buying these products. So if it's not affordable, it's not a solution. So how do you deal with that with the local communities? How do you deal with that? Because I believe that in the communities where you go, or sometimes there are some impoverished families and they can't afford an expensive eco stove, much as it is healthier. So is that something you are doing for the community?
Yeah, so I agree, these stoves are not cheap. The first time I saw this stove, I had never seen a stove worth more than 10,000. And when I was told the price, 150,000, I nearly dropped to the floor. But once you understand,
yourself,
yes, me. once you understand why it's priced so and how it pays for itself, once you own it, then you start to understand the economics of having one of these stoves. But it's a fact. Upfront affordability is an issue, and we find this right across the country when we're speaking to people in different parts of the country. What is being done? So I am part of an alliance called the National Alliance on Clean Cooking, and we do a lot of sensitization, lobbying, and seeking for funds. And currently, the Ministry of Energy is working on a program that subsidizes these stoves. So, which means that government will pay up to 50% on the cost of the stove, and citizens pay the balance. That makes a big step. That in itself helps make the stoves a lot more affordable. But there are still people who can't afford even at the subsidized prices. So of course what we're trying to do is looking at ways we can incorporate things like carbon financing, where you get the benefits of carbon credits that are generated by these stoves, put them into the affordability of the product, and hopefully make it more affordable. That way, it should get, they should become a lot more affordable. But these are the top end. These are your Rolls Royces of, to use a better explanation, of stoves. They're improved stoves that are not necessarily these ones. They're improved stoves that are well designed. They're tested by the UNBS quality certified. Save maybe not as much as 60%, but save quite a bit of money. That is a good place for people who can't afford these ones to start. And as they move up in terms of being able to afford, then they can move up to these higher tier. These are called high tier clean cooking stoves.
Okay, getting to mind shift and the future, because selling these products to people in the community is really a mind shift. You are changing them from something they have used for generations. They have cooked with firewood for generations. Even today on the streets, I still find people who are cooking street food with the firewood, with the other ordinary sigiri or charcoal stove. So it's some. How do you deal with convincing them to unlearn what they already know?
So that's a
generations.
Yeah. It's a real mind shift thing, and what we have found is we move around, we demonstrate the products, we sell the benefits of these stoves. I'll give you an example. I was in Mbarara about a year and a half ago, and I met the biggest chapati making operation I have seen in the country. I think these guys make over 10,000 chapatis a day.
What?
You do the numbers. 10,000 chapatis at 1,000. How much is this guy making a day?
That's a lot.
He was using over 11 bags of charcoal a day.
Wow.
11 bags of charcoal for this massive operation.
And charcoal is at a cost of about
85,000 in Mbarara. In Mbarara, it was about 85,000. So we were able to demonstrate we talked about the stove, introduced him to the stove, and gave him one stove to actually go and try it for himself.
Wow.
And within a few days, he had called us and he replaced his entire suite of 50, 60 stoves with energy efficient stoves. And he's saving over 80%, because if you know the stoves that are used for Rolexes, they're not even clay lined. They're just the Mabati ones.
Yes.
So it's being able to demonstrate the actual savings. So for the businesses, it's a bit easier because you can tie the benefits to the cost saving and pay back for a stove like this. It is harder for people who
in homes
are at home and they're using it for their livelihood and they're actually cooking to eat rather than running a business. It gets a bit harder, but at the end of the day, what we're trying to always stress is, yes, it might sound like it's expensive upfront. How much are you spending on charcoal a day, a month? And I use the local boda people here. Unfortunately, in Kampala, the average boda man spends between 3,000 and 5,000 shillings on charcoal. That's 150,000 they're spending a month. That is the price of one of these stoves on subsidy, twice the price. So if they can get the stove, then they're able to save easily 100,000 a month. That's a million, 1.2 million a year. Over the life of these stoves, that's 5 million, because they'll last for up to 5 years.
That's a good idea, tying the benefits to the stove. Now looking at the future, where do you see the future with the people not changing the mind to eco stoves, where do you see the future of Uganda when it comes to cooking with the old way?
I think people have seen what inaction does, and that's why we had the presidential directive on curbing the transportation and illegal production of charcoal. What the impact of that has been increased charcoal prices everywhere.
Yeah.
So people need to realize that we have a part to play in this by making the right decisions. And it's not that, I think for a good part of it, it's not that people don't want to make the decision, but for every 10 people I speak to, 9 of them don't know these solutions exist. So there's a big part that we, people who are in the clean cooking space, the Alliance, the Uganda National Alliance on Clean Cooking, are playing to try and raise awareness and engaging. But at the end of the day, it's between each of us. Those of you who watch this video and learn about these stoves, let your friends know that they're actually energy efficient. Exactly. There's an alternative, there's an option.
A healthier one.
A healthier option. That saves you money, doesn't produce smoke, produces 70% less smoke, and lasts for a long time. And of course, at the end of the day, uses so much little charcoal that we're saving our environment.
Thank you so much, David. And for those of you who out there who want to find David, he is here. He's going to tell us his contacts and where we can find him. Could you look into the camera and tell people where they can locate this store for these stores or any other stores you have around Kampala?
Okay, so we have a Kendenza Clean Cooking Center here in Weza on Entebbe Road. We are right next to Mega Standard Supermarket opposite Mogas. That's our main clean cooking center. So you can walk in and you can get any of these energy saving products from our store here. We also have outlets in Jinja on Oboja Road. We have an outlet in Mbale next to Travelers Inn on Mumias Road. And we should be opening up very soon an outlet in Gulu where you will be able to access these products at a very affordable, competitive price right at your doorstep.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you for having us. Clean cooking is the way, it's the future.
As our conversation came to an end, David's message was clear. Without a mind shift, we lose our forests entirely. With charcoal becoming scarce and prices skyrocketing, his eco stoves offer a lifeline. While an ordinary stove burns a whole sack of charcoal in just 1 month, an eco stove stretches that same sack for up to 3 months. It saves families, money, and crucially, it saves our environment. The future has to be eco stoves. David could not bring back the forests of his childhood overnight. He could not erase the years of smoke those mothers had already breathed. But today, he's saving mothers he'll never meet, children he'll never name, and forests he'll never walk through. He laid bare the cost of doing nothing so we would understand why this mind shift matters. Then he showed us the way forward so we would know change is possible. That is what an inspirational story looks like. One person, one decision, one stove at a time. The smoke does not have to be normal. The forest does not have to fall. The question is not, can we change? The question is, will you be part of the story too? Kendenza Carbon Cautious Solutions, because every kitchen deserves clean air. Cook clean, live light, inspire others. Thank you so much for watching, and if this journey inspired you, please like the video and share this story with the world.